Good morning, all of you. In our previous session, we have discussed about land design, how we are going to implement it, and some questions based on that. I hope that topic was clear and it is important for your board exam. Now, again, some theory based topic. Today, we will discuss some of the network protocols. Okay, so protocol. Protocol is nothing but set of rules and regulations. So whenever we are using any services, so related to that services, so many protocols are there and it is compulsory that we have to follow all those protocols. So in this session, we are going to discuss some of the various network protocols. Complete sequence is given over here: TCP/IP, file transfer protocol, point-to-point protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, simple mail transfer protocol, post office protocol, remote login telnet, then your GSM, GPRS and WLL. So all these we will discuss one by one. Transmission control protocol oblique internet protocol. Now see, first of all, whenever we are sending sending any information via internet, that time this is the protocol which is responsible, that is TCP and IP. Basically what these protocols do, they are responsible for successful transmission of your information from one computer to the other computer. Means basically they guarantee the delivery of your information. Okay, now what these two protocols do in between. So their works are different. Whenever we transfer any information, first of all, what TCP do? TCP breaks our information into small fixed size packets, and then for every packet it write the source address, destination address, packet number, and then deliver it over the network. And what IP do in between? IP assigns the addresses, the destination address, the routing of the packet, and it ensures that it reaches to the correct destination. Then again at the destination site, again TCP will assemble all those packets in a proper sequence and then deliver it to the user. So basically this is how your TCP IP works. Then next, file transfer protocol. See, whenever you upload or download any file over internet, that time you are actually using this file transfer protocol. What it do? Generally we are having some FTP servers also. So sometimes you wanted to connect directly with the FTP servers, so you can connect, and there also you can upload or you can download files from that FTP server. But remember, when we upload or download any file via FTP servers, they are not that much secured. But fine, generally when we are uploading any website or some files which are already uploaded on the servers and we wanted to download, that time this FTP protocol is responsible. Important thing that you have to keep in your mind, that it is also using TCP IP. Okay, then our next service, point-to-point protocol. Now with the name only you can understand it is point-to-point computers. So suppose if two computers are directly connected with each other and then we wanted to send any information from one computer to another computer, that time the protocol that we are using is point-to-point protocol. Even you can see it is written over here that it is a communication protocol of data link layer that is used to transmit multi-protocol data between two directly connected computers. And most important thing that you have to keep in your mind, it is generally used for broadband communication. See, basically you have to remember that at which particular services or for what different types of purpose, which type of protocols are actually responsible. This is your hypertext transfer protocol. Whenever we are sending any, we are requesting for any web page over the internet, that time we are using this HTTP protocol. Previously we were using HTTP only, but now these days we started using HTTPS. The reason is HTTPS is more secured as compared to that of your HTTP protocol. Okay. but you must know that how we are sending or receiving the web pages via HTTP. So it is basically HTTP request and response relations. Okay, so generally what happens as a client, whenever we wanted to connect with any server, as a client, a browser is sending the HTTP request to the internet or to the web server. Okay, web server will receive the request, and then what web server will do, it will process your request, and then on the basis of your request, whatever the output has been created, server will return the HTTP response to the web browser back. Client will receive and client will can see the output of the given request. Now the next protocol is SMTP, or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. See, I'll combine this with POP3 also. Actually, whenever we send any mail to any person, so from our computer it reaches to the server, and then from server it reaches to the destination. Fine. So what is the role of SMTP? It is responsible for transferring our file from our computer to the server. And two more protocols we are having, that is POP3 and IMAP. These two protocols, anyone generally we are using, these are responsible for fetching the mail from the server to the computer or to the destination computer. So whenever we are currently, what we have to understand, that Simple Mail Transfer Protocol is responsible for sending any information from our computer to the server. Okay, and again it is given that TCP connection is required. Remember this thing. So again we are talking about the internet. This is the POP3. This is the advanced version. Otherwise previously we were using POP2. Okay, so POP2 we were using in mid 80s, and POP3 we started using in these series. So basically POP3, when we are using it, what it generally do, it is used to send the information from the server or to fetch the information from the server to the destination computer. There is so many difference between IMAP and POP3. For that I have given you the link so that you can easily understand. Currently what you have to understand, that it allows you to get the information or get the mail from the server to your system. Okay, then next, Telnet. Now when we talk about Telnet, suppose we wanted to connect to any remote computer or any remote server. For that, this Telnet is the tool which has been provided to us to get connected ourselves with a remote side computer system or remote side server. When you have connected with via Telnet to that particular server or computer, remember Telnet is again not secured. Okay, so the info we can upload any file in that server or the system, we can download any file, we can delete any file, we can use their system as our system basically. Okay, but the most important thing is it is not secured. So as to get the secured communication or basically secured way of transfers of information, now these days instead of Telnet we are using SSH. Only you have to remember the names, that previously we were using Telnet, it is not secured, so we started using SSH to control or to use any remote system. Then next we global system for mobile communications. Now these we will be having three more, we are going to discuss three more protocols now. These three protocols are basically we are using for the mobile communication. Okay, so GSM, that is Global System for Mobile Communication. It is a digital mobile network which is widely used by mobile phone users in Europe and other part of the world basically. So what you have to understand in that this is what we are using, or this is actually a technology which is the part of evolution of wireless mobile communications. Okay, in which includes basically high speed circuit switch data, or which uses radio services. Okay, so basically it is used for transmitting mobile, voice and data services. Okay, so this is what you have to understand in this, and it is not in your syllabus, but you must know one name, that is TDMA, time division multiple access. So it is using actually time division TDMA technique for the communication purpose. Okay, then next we GPRS, that is General Packet Radio Services. GPRS is actually a packet oriented mobile data service. See, we have already discussed packet switching and circuit switching. So GPRS is actually based on packet switching technology. Okay, so it is a packet oriented mobile data standard, and we are using this for both 2G as well as 3G cellular communication. And then why we are first of all, you must know the difference between GSM and GPRS, because in some places of world we are using GPRS, some places we are using GSM. Actually GSM is based on circuit switching, whereas your GPRS is based on packet switching. No doubt so many advantages also we are having with the GPRS. Some points are, first is relatively low connection cost, so we can say GPRS is cheaper. Second is high transfer rate. So it means when we are sending the information, the speed at which the information is transferred is faster in case of GPRS, and short access time. Overall the access time to get the information is also very short in case of GPRS. Then next we are having is, that is wireless and local loop. And very nicely it is given over here that this technology simply means that the subscriber is connected to the nearest exchange through the radio link. So basically to the nearest exchange it is connected via radio link. So no need of digging and implementing the copper wires. So ultimately it is very cheaper as compared to that of physically getting connected with the copper wires. Some of the features are also given, that first of all it is given that WLL is cheaper and quicker than copper wire connectivity, as we have discussed, because it is wireless. So when we are purchasing copper wire, the cost of purchasing is much more as that of the establishing connectivity via copper wire. Then next is WLL is also a more suitable technology for a quick rollout of a network, as it bypasses digging ditches to lay copper wires. As I already said that the installation of copper wire is more costly as compared to directly using the radio links for the wireless transmission of the information. Then some more uses are given, that first is it is used for internet connection via modem. So we can we can use internet via modem with the help of WLL. Data services will be given by this, voice services as well as fax services. So all these are the services that we can get with the help of WLL. Here some links I have given to you so that you can go through these all links and you will understand more nicely that how these all these protocols are working, their differences, their features, their advantages, their disadvantages. Thank you so much.